Oh shoot. The Knicks have waived two players. Isaiah Roby and Jalen Martin are no longer on New York's roster via
Oh,
Shams.
this is real?
Yeah, this is real. This is very real.
Who's Lars girl? That's your alarm
Earl,
going
you
off.
really where's your line, Earl? You had to butcher it like this?
My
Come
bad.
on,
That was
man.
the camera, Doorbell security. Gotta stay secure around here,
we gotta start over now. No, I'm joking. Hello everybody, welcome to Beyond the Backboard Podcast, episode 8. My name is Omar, that is Earl, that is Max. How are we doing, boys?
We got episode 8 coming in hot. We are doing good. We are ready to talk some NBA lists.
Yes, because
Love
there's
lists.
no content coming out of the NBA more or less recently. I mean, there's been developments over KPJ's situation, but I don't really want to go over that because it's a sensitive topic and I honestly have no idea what is actually going on, so I don't want to comment on it. But let's just talk about a little bit here, right? I want to kind of go over maybe some things that have like surprised you during the weekend, guys, preseason wise. I know it's just preseason. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, yada yada yada. Like it's just preseason. Blah, blah, blah,
I wasn't
blah.
gonna say that.
I'm just imagining the comments right now. I mean, we don't get it.
I was going to talk about how great Max Christie is.
I mean, yeah, seriously. Let's talk about Malik Monk. No, I'm joking. But
Ex-Laker, by the
who
way.
has surprised you in this offseason so far?
Off season or preseason or both.
Preseason, sorry, preseason.
Both.
I'll let Max go first. You look locked in.
All right. I was talking about this yesterday on Full Court Press until I was interrupted because apparently nobody could hear me. I've been pleasantly surprised by Victor Wembanyama so far.
Yep.
I was probably someone who wasn't as bought into the Victor hype as a lot of people. Like obviously I recognized from day one like his ceiling and his potential to be great. But, I think there were a lot of people that were arguing like, is he a top 10 center in the NBA already? Like is he gonna make an all-star team in year one? And I was kind of on the boat of, let's hold off and really see. Let's give him at least, half an NBA season before we really start pitching him up against, guys who've spent 5-10 years in the league and kind of, like tapering expectations. Like he is the most hyped prospect since LeBron, yes, and he has an incredibly, incredibly high ceiling, like an all-time high ceiling. But, I also am very aware that like he's a rookie. This is the NBA. It's going to, more often than not, it is going to take a rookie a lot of time, especially in like his first 10, 20, 30 games. Like, you might see him have like a couple good games in there, but it takes people a while to really build something consistently. So I would absolutely not hold it against Victor if he comes out and like underperforms, quote unquote, these first few weeks. And that is still a very real possibility. Obviously, again, the regular season has not started yet, but from what little we have seen of him in the preseason so far, he has looked extremely, extremely comfortable. I think he's averaging like, if not 20 points per game, close to 20 points per game on like maybe 25, 20 minutes. So it's like he's kind of close to a point a minute, which is wild for someone who was just drafted. You figured that the defense would come first because that's more, like he can use his just natural God-given height and athleticism and quickness to kind of hold his own defensively. Like he's 7'4". He's going to be one of the best rim protecting centers in the league by default, I think, as long as he doesn't get in foul trouble. So I was kind of anticipating that the defense would be there, right away at the very least. But he would kind of struggle on offense to kind of find his rhythm. But he has looked more than capable on offense. I mean, doing guard-like dribble moves, pull-ups through the leg, hezzies, like being an isolation player, which is crazy to think. We've never seen like a real 7-foot-plus isolation player, I don't think. He hasn't really, the post is still getting, his post game is still coming along. That's going to take time, obviously. But, I mean, he's setting picks and rolling to the rim. He's catching these crazy lobs. Like, he looks very capable on the offensive side, which if that's the case going into the season, then that is going to be very, very scary for a lot of teams because the defense is going to get good. Popovich is a very good defensive head coach. He's going to teach him how to be, a strong rim protector, how to box out, the nuance of rebounding and defense. So that will almost certainly come, barring any injuries, of course. But the fact that Victor is already, looking like a very, very talented offensive player and someone who could maybe even average 20 points a game in his rookie year, that is just wild. So, again, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. If he comes out and averages 15 points a game, I'm not going to be disappointed in him. I'm not going to call him a bust or anything. Like, I'm keeping my expectations relatively low because, again, he is still a rookie. He is still very young. It's a lot to put on this young man to, say he's got to be an all-star year one or he's got to do this, he's got to do that. I'm just happy to sit back and watch him develop. But if his development is even farther along than some people thought, then we might be in for one heck of an all-time rookie season.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was strangely very beautiful.
I promise I did not script that. That was not written out ahead of time.
Poetic.
No, but I have to agree with Max. I think for the most part, Victor, he's been kind of a surprise. Like some of the stuff he does, we've never seen anybody do. Like Max mentioned, we talked about this a little bit yesterday about how the blueprint was kind of Kristaps Porzingis for the most part, as far as a 7 foot. I know Max. I mean, not Max. Omar is not gonna like this, but as far as like a 7'3" dude who can kind of get to his spots, he can shoot mid range 3 points, all things like that. Victor is that plus more. He's more athletic. He can get to his spots a lot easier, and he just I don't know. It's just like we described it as him getting in his spots. It just looks so natural. Like his jump shot looks good, off the dribble work looks good. That one play where he had Trey Jones kind of set a fake lob. A fake screen, popped out, threw him a lob, 15 feet in the air. He goes up and dunks it down. Was insane. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the NBA. I know it's just preseason. He hasn't played the Joel Embiids of the world, but at the same time, they're gonna have to come out there and guard him from once he passes half court, really 3-point line and up. He's pretty much a 3-level scorer. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the NBA. And I think it's going to be really fun to watch him, honestly.
I'm just going to say this now. Earl. Hating. But
What?
hating.
On who?
He's hating.
What did I say?
Porzingis?
Yeah. No.
Look,
Look.
you don't like Porzingis. I like
Of course
Porzingis.
I don't like Porzingis. If you're a Knicks fan and you were a prevalent Knicks fan throughout the years Porzingis was with us and just know how much drama he caused in the front office and how much shit he stirred in the front office to get traded for pennies on the dollar, like, bro, it's not fair as a New York Knicks fan. Why should I like him? Why should I like... I mean, look, he's a great player. I am not going to put that down. If he's uninjured and he knows he can rebound the ball and play defense as well as he's been doing so far in the preseason, I don't see him not being an all-star. But at the same time, he's the one that caused shit in the organization, and he's the one that put our organization in the shitter and put us in... I can't even say it. He's the one that caused all this collateral fucking damage.
He didn't.
Yes, he did. Because right after Melo left, he was the one that we were supposed to build around, and then he left. If we had him on the squad right now and he continued to be loyal, we would definitely have a championship level team. Because on top of that, we'll have Julius Randle, and then on top of that, we'll have Mitchell Robinson off the bench, which would be much better than Jericho Sims off the bench. See, I'm thinking. You're not there yet. I'm there.
No, the Knicks aren't there yet, obviously.
As a Knicks fan, let me counter and see if I can maybe get there. We know that was a very dysfunctional front office. This was pre-Leon. I think Leon came in 20. Well, actually, no, I think...
No, it was pre-Leon. It was pre-Leon.
I think the drama started pre-Leon, but I think the trade may have gone down during Leon, because the trade happened in January of 2019. I think it was January 26th. I still remember where I was. I think I cried a little bit that night, because I was a prevalent Knicks fan, and I love Porzingis, and like you said, he was the guy we were going to build around. I had a poster of him in my room. He was supposed to be the guy. And
I hated him. I already knew all the shit that was going on in the front office before they traded him. And I already knew, like, I wanted this man off my squad. Like, I don't want somebody that's going to stir drama and fuck up the team like that.
Well, there was an allegation that was made against him, but I'm pretty sure that turned out to just not be true. So
at all.
No.
As far as we know, those charges were dropped. That never came of anything. I know there was a lot of tension between him and the front office. I forget exactly what it was, but there was definitely a lot of tension.
There was.
I'm sure it might have to do with the direction of the team, because obviously he was having a great season. The first year post Melo was 17-18. He was having a great season. He was going to be an all-star. He was literally named to the all-star team, but then he had the torn ACL, so that kept him out the second half of that season. And then into 18-19, he was not playing. Obviously, he was coming from a torn ACL.
He was getting angry.
Get traded, but
I believe he was getting angry and he was like, we're not winning games. And it's like, bro, you're our best player and you're injured. Of course we're not winning games. And he didn't understand
I think there was definitely some tension there about winning, which, on the one hand is understandable, but we also would have obviously loved to see him, like you said, take a little bit more understanding of the situation, understand the context that team was really not even built to win with him on the court, and certainly without him on the court, we were always going to struggle. But we definitely did not trade him for pennies. In the moment, we probably traded him for pennies on the dollar, but I know that trade also allowed us to shed a lot of salaries. I think that was the Tim Hardaway salary we got off in that, and maybe one or two other players. It allowed us to shed salary that opened up that offseason for us, where that was going to be where we got Kyrie and Durant, but we got Julius Randle and Marcus Morris instead. So I don't know if we would have signed Randle if that trade doesn't happen, and we also would not have signed Marcus Morris, who in a roundabout way turned into the pick that got us Emmanuel quickly. So in the long run, we actually did not really trade him for pennies on the dollar. In the moment, I was like, this is a terrible trade. We're not getting anything back. But it was clearly just a complete reset. And while it didn't yield us the return we wanted, we still actually got pieces that are like still here today. Like Randall's been great for us. Quickly's been great for us. Trading Porzingis away opened up this area for Mitchell Robinson to grow, because remember, Mitch was not really part of our long-term future until he got the starting center spot, was able to play consistently. And that was when the front office realized, like, okay, this is a guy we can really build around. And that tank also got us the third overall pick, which is now RJ Barrett. So like, I get it. The Porzingis, I definitely had hard feelings for him for a couple of years, but I don't know. I've become back to kind of neutral on him. Like, I think he's stated in the media recently that like he does regret the way he handled the situation, and that it was kind of immature of him, and that he does kind of miss playing in New York. So like, again, it's not he didn't handle it the greatest. I think he knows that, but I'm more willing to forgive him now. I think he's grown. I think he's kind of matured. He doesn't really seem to be much hate towards us anymore. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go. He can do his thing. I'm more back to neutral. Like, I'm back to kind of just respecting his game. He is what he is. Obviously, I'm going to root against him because he's on the Celtics this year, and we're going to have to play him 4 times. So that stinks for us Knicks fans, having to face him 4 times. And I'm sure whenever he plays the Knicks, he gives it a little extra. Maybe
it's
gives
not like
it
we
99.
didn't, though. We were reversing. Like, it's not really much of a difference. He was in Washington.
True, yeah. So yeah, we're playing him 3 times, the other 4 times. But yeah, so I'm sure he'll stick it to us a little bit whenever we play him.
You're gonna lose.
Yeah, that is a bit different. Now he's not a real contender, but I don't know. I don't hate Porzingis much anymore. If I really don't hate him at all, I don't think I've kind of forgiven him. We've moved on. I think he's moved on, and honestly, the trade I don't think was as bad as it looked in the moment. Again, on the surface, bad trade, but when you think about like all the little branches, and that also yielded us that Mavericks pick that still has not come through yet. But so that will at some point be a lottery pick. I think
it didn't come through yet because.
Yeah. This year, it hopefully will.
We were supposed to get one that conveyed this year, but then the Mavericks tanked for the pick.
Right.
They missed the playoffs right for the pick.
Yeah. Assuming they don't miss the playoffs this year, we will get another first-round pick off it. Still remains to be seen.
I think they have a solid lineup. If they added Grant Williams, and they added a lot of defensive presence, which is going to be key for them.
I really don't know. I don't think the Mavericks got much of any better. If anything, they got worse. I'm more low on Grant Williams.
They didn't really lose anybody. They didn't really
get anybody though.
Yeah, they did. Derek Lively is going to start for them very soon. Soon enough, Dwight Powell is going to be swiped out with him. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, a lot depends on Lively. If Lively can be a solid starting presence, by the end of the year, then that's going to be.
Yeah, I believe that was the main reason why they let go of JaVale McGee like 2 weeks after they signed him, was because they realized, oh wait, we got Derek Lively. We don't really.
I mean, if we're being honest, if Derek Lively is the big move they made, they really didn't make a lot of moves this offseason.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they already have Kyrie and Luka. Like, what else can you do with Kyrie and Luka on your books?
We have not seen Kyrie and Luka actually work yet. Respectfully, I'm not saying it's not going to work.
All they've done has been bad. All they've done has been actively bad. So not like they were going to make the playoffs. They were going to be like a 5th, 6th, 7th seed, and they tanked out the playoffs. So like actively, this trade made them worse. And like you're saying, or Omar, like what more can you do when you have Luke and Kyrie? You can't. They're kind of screwed.
No money.
Like, for lack of better words, like they're in a really tough spot now.
No, like, yeah, I mean, 100%. That's the whole point. I mean,
but for me, I don't know. I just feel like the Mavericks, out of everybody in the offseason, I feel like they were the most passive when they couldn't afford to be. Like Luka and Kyrie, don't get me wrong, they're 2 great players. But like I mentioned before, we have not seen them work well together. I'm all for it working out. I've heard Kyrie Irving talk about how they have to be mature the way they handle the game on the court between those two guys. We all know they're both really ball dominant guys, but we've seen Kyrie Irving play with one of the most ball dominant guys in NBA history, LeBron James, and it worked. I just think they have to kind of define. It sounds so weird to say their on court boundaries, like how they want to play, the play style they want to play with, and they just got to rock with the whole season. I think that's going to be Luka with the ball in his hands and Kyrie kind of playing that shooting guard role like he did in Cleveland. He hasn't done that in the last couple of years, but he's going to have to lock in and kind of contribute to that. Other than that, I'm not really sure what moves they can make to make them better right now, but I do still stand by this. They're not a deep enough team. This could bite me back, but I'm going to say right now, I just don't think they're a deep enough team to be a top team in the West currently. But I could be 100% wrong. Maybe Lively turns out to be the next coming of Dirk Nowitzki. I don't know. I mean, we don't know. Not saying he's anything close to that, but that's what they're going to need as far as
that was Maxi Kleber. That was Maxi Kleber.
I mean, the most aggressive move they made this offseason was locking up Kyrie for a max contract, which, if anything, like you said, that pigeonholed them to not being able to make any other real moves. Like once they locked up Kyrie, that was kind of their offseason done.
And then they were kind of praying for Clint Capella for cheap. So
yeah, I mean, that could still happen. Like, we could get a month into the season. It could happen tomorrow for all we know. I know Atlanta's really been shopping him, so I think that would be a good pickup for them. I've always thought that Karl-Anthony Towns would fit really well with Luka. Luka's never really had a big man like that can kind of, have both an interior and exterior presence. He's really never even played with much of anyone who's at the level of a Karl-Anthony Towns when healthy. I mean, you could argue Porzingis there for a year was pretty darn good as well, but I think setting Luka picks up top, be able to pick and pop, pick and roll, be a solid rebounding presence underneath. Like, I think that would have been a much better fit for him than Kyrie Irving. So I don't know if you could get Kyrie and Luka on the same team. I don't even know, like, salary-wise or trade-wise how that would work, but the Mavs need a big man. Either that or they're really banking on Lively, like we said, not only becoming something great, but immediately being great. And that's very high expectations. Again, we were just talking about Victor. It's tough to see Derek Lively just instantly coming in and being able to be like a consistent starting level center. And that's no disrespect to Derek Lively. Like, that's just, you're a rookie in the NBA. It's going to take you time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, no, I mean, I don't know. I lost my thought. I'm not going to lie.
I was going to say
this is a good time to go to the
list. No, I was looking at the list and then I saw something related to it and then I just... But continue. What were you going to say?
Last thing I have to say, though, about Porzingis is a great basketball player. He's not a elite A++ tier, but he's going to be a great role player on that Celtics team. And him and Drew Holiday, I feel like those were two pieces that were really missing. So if they can stay healthy, obviously that's Omar's biggest concern with Porzingis, which is understandable. His last real healthy season was last year. I think he played 60+ games, so good for him. Maybe he can keep that up this year, hopefully. But I'm a Lakers fan, and the Celtics, on paper, they look scary, man. I mean, they're a little bit worrisome. I think compared to what I've seen from the Bucks so far, it almost seems like the Celtics have just kind of instantly clicked. Like, it took them one game. I don't know if you guys watched the highlights from last game, but when they were all out there on the floor, they were literally taking turns on each other. 3-point line. Oh, let me pass it to KP. Green. Oh, next play, I'm going to pass it to JT. Oh, he has a bucket. Jaylen Brown takes it off the ISO. Doesn't go left, goes right, of course. Finishes in the paint. Like, everything just looks nice. And Drew Holiday, once again, finishes in the lane. Like, it just looks like a really complete team. So I think that's pretty much the team to watch so far. And Porzingis, he stays healthy. He's going to be a big part of them winning games. And maybe even a championship.
That was
a nice subtle jab at Jaylen Brown right there.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah,
I did. One thing about the Celtics, I will say, and I think this goes back just real quick before we move on to the list. I think this does go back to kind of what's been their identity for the last couple of years. Is they are very hit or miss with threes. Like, there are nights like last night where they are just absolutely on it. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone take and make more straight on 3-pointers than Jason Tatum. I mean, he is just you see a lot of guys these days take to the corners. Tatum loves that straight on shot, and my goodness, does he have it perfected. He can get to his spot and just shoot that shot over anyone. So nights where the Celtics threes are falling, like, they are almost impossible to stop. Like, as a Knicks fan, this has happened to us many times. We've seen them do it to teams in the playoffs, good defensive teams, but we've also seen them go cold from the 3-point line in the playoffs before. And, I don't want to say they're a live by the 3, die by the 3 team. I think now that they have someone like Jrue Holiday and they have Porzingis, I think they might try and move away from that, kind of mindset a little bit here. But, that is maybe like the one thing you can say about their offenses. They do kind of have a tendency to, if you're playing really good defense, and if JT is off and if JB is off, their offense can get stagnant. They do force a lot of threes because they're really good at taking threes, but sometimes they don't quite know when it's just not their night, and they're able to kind of attack from mid, attack in the lane, attack on cuts. They can get a little complacent. So we'll have to see. Maybe second year under Mazzulla, again, completely new starting lineup. Maybe they'll try and get away from that. I would imagine they would, but again, it is one of their strengths that when they're firing, and my goodness, that offense could put up like 130, 140 on you. And it's, as a Knicks fan, it's tough to watch. Like, that first half was brutal.
Demoralizing.
Very.
But Quentin Grimes was on his game, though. I mean, shit.
He was
good.
Hey, Earl, I said yesterday, Quentin Grimes, good game, RJ, bad game. RJ didn't play, but Grimes played, and he played really well. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to say real quick before I forget again. I'm glad that you brought up Cat, because we're not blind to the rumors of Cat, and they're interested in Cat. And I just gotta say, Leon Rose, by any small chance, if you're watching this podcast, the small, very little, the small, very little chance that you are watching this podcast, I swear to God, if you trade Julius Randle or RJ Barrett to get Cat, I will no longer be a Knicks fan. I'm looking at you. I'm
calling Cap.
I swear to God, if you trade RJ Barrett or Julius Randle to get Cat, I will no longer be a Knicks fan. And I am saying that on the internet.
I'm calling Cap, Omar. I'm calling Cap. I don't see
I would
it.
actually like if we traded Randall for Cat. Assuming we didn't give up. If that was just a package.
That's a lateral. That's a lateral move, and if anything, it's more lazy.
No, that's a way better move, because Cat now for last year he's playing power forward next to Rudy Gobert. You can have Mitchell Robinson and Cat. I don't know.
Too much. That's too much for. Those are two bigs in the lineup that I do not like together. It does not sound like a good lineup. It sounds like a repeat of Rudy Gobert and Cat. It's just with Mitchell Robinson.
Randle.
Huh?
But you like Julius Randle. He's gonna dominate the ball the whole possession.
But he's being
traded. I think Omar, you bring up a very good point. If Cat's not a power forward, like, I do say I like this trade, but I would like it in this scenario. Then we move Mitchell to kind of like a bench center role, which even that I don't love. I think Mitch deserves to start. I think him next to Cat would just be, like you said, a repeat of Gobert. Like, Cat's
that's not good. And I mean, I don't think I would mind it if we traded Mitch to get him. Like, if we packaged Mitch up with Evan Fournier and maybe...
That's not going to get you Cat, bro.
It's not going to get us Cat, but, I mean, we have the picks to maybe make it work. So, I don't know.
You're right. You're definitely right.
But
maybe
look,
if we threw up first, but I wouldn't deplete our picks for Cat. He's not...
not like deplete our picks. I would say maybe 2 to 3 picks along with that.
I don't think I would get him. If it's just Mitchell, if it's Mitch and 3 picks, I don't think it would take 4 or 5 firsts.
Mitch and Fournier, and I think they can benefit from Fournier.
Like that, I don't think.
I think the Timberwolves need a 3-point shooter like that.
They have Nas Reed.
Fournier moving the needle in a trade much, and plus they already have.
He's not crazy from 3 though.
Nas Reed?
No, he's not crazy from 3.
He's above average.
Is he? I don't know. I'm not going to speak on it. I have no idea.
Keep in mind, they do already have Rudy Gobert, who's just an equal, or as a biased Knicks fan, I might say slightly worse Mitchell Robinson at this point in their careers.
Well, yeah, that would make sense. I forgot, yeah. Why would they trade for Mitchell Robinson?
I don't think they need Mitch.
Yeah.
They already have Mitch or Mitch.
It would probably fit their timeline better.
I don't think so. Rudy Gobert and Mitchell Robinson as their bigs? Not at all.
with Nas Reed still, with Nas Reed.
Oh yeah, with Nas.
If they're
Reed.
giving up,
I mean, give us Nas Reed. I'll take Nas Reed.
You know what this sounds like? It sounds like an Omar trade on fantasy.
Oh, stop it. That's
Yeah, you give me
that's
Mitchell Robinson,
discriminatory.
and we'll throw you Evan Fournier, and we'll send you one.
No, that's too generous for an Omar trade. He wouldn't.
You're right. You're right.
Fournier.
Evan Fournier for Carnegie Town straight up.
I'll give you one first
this is
too, though, to make it even.
This is blasphemous.
Hey
That's
Omar, I
crazy.
appreciate you getting me. You got me Embiid though in a roundabout way, so I appreciate
In
it.
a roundabout
appreciate
way, I
it.
gave you Embiid. All right, whatever.
appreciate
I mean, I think I won that trade. I'm not gonna lie, because Mikal Bridges, along with OG Anunoby and whoever else you gave me, Earl, I think that's gonna end up averaging more than Embiid. So I think I won that trade in the long.
I'm
run.
happy with my trade too. So when it came
I mean,
around,
you got a lineup
I
for
doubled
it.
down.
Got a lineup.
I mean,
Hey, I got Embiid, and I didn't have to deplete any of my 18 Shams Leopard first round picks. So
that is true.
I don't
Let's
think
go make
anybody's
another move.
aiming for those picks though.
I am.
Now
I'm
let's
gonna
get
get
number one
season.
picks.
All right. So I guess it's time we could start to go over some of these lists, right? So the first list I got in mind is ranking the 3 best NBA players by position in 23-24. Starts out by saying the core requirements per NBA position have remained the same. There is a new wave of young stars who will take up in 2024. Older superstars in leagues are no longer at their best positions. So we're gonna start off with this list with obviously the point guards. We got number 1 Luka Doncic, who's going to be averaged approximately 32.4 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, 8 assists per game, and 1 steal per game. We got number 2 Steph Curry, averaging 29.4, 6.1 rebounds, 6.3 assists, about 1 steal per game. And then we got Damian Lillard for number 3, who's going to be averaging around 32.2 points a game, 4.8 rebounds a game, 7.3 assists, about 1 steal a game, and then no blocks. False. Jalen Brunson is number 1, always and forever. No, I'm just joking.
Yes.
But you know what though? I gotta say this in the name of Jalen Brunson. I do think he's a top 10 point guard in this league right now, but he's not in this top 3. I can say that with complete genuineness. But I do believe he is a top 10 point guard in this league, and people are sleeping on him. But hearing the point guards,
I don't think anyone's saying he's not a top 10 point guard. If you are, that's just being a hater. I think he's pretty comfortably a top 10. I think he's maybe 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. I think that's a fair ranking for him.
yeah.
But I mean, I agree. Yeah, just get back to top 3. I don't think Lillard's gonna average 32 playing next to Giannis. I mean, maybe it's possible. I think he'll probably just settle for a comfortable 26, 27 a night, and he might do 8 or 9 assists. I think the assist number could be any higher. If anything, they went a little low. I mean, he talked about it last time. He's getting double teamed, and he's able to just pass the Giannis every time. So I think that he could average close to 10 assists, and he'll just take his 25 a night and be happy with that. And Giannis will get his 29. Their individual scorings, I think, will both probably drop, but the Bucks will be a better team for it. So that's good for them. I honestly don't. I mean, Luka 1, Curry 2. I know some people are going to say Curry's 1, and I'm not going to completely disagree with that. I would still put Luka a little bit ahead just because Curry, again, I mean, he's getting up there in age. We can't expect this man to be unanimous MVP Steph forever, but he is still a top 2 point guard. I do want to give a shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I think you can make a very real case for him as number 3 on this list.
Yeah, 100%.
If Lillard does take a statistical step back, and which he's completely would probably be the smart thing to do, honestly. Again, you're playing on Milwaukee, he doesn't have to do Portland Dame numbers. He doesn't have to put up 40 a night for his team to have a shot at winning. So, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is in kind of an opposite situation. He is the guy on OKC, and obviously they have a lot of great young talent there, but he is the only one who is an established, not only all-star, but he is an established top 10 player in the NBA, regardless of position. You just go off of the season he had last year. People sleep on Shai, so I really do think you could argue him at 1. At 3, not 1. I don't know if they're going to put him on the list as a shooting guard. They might do that, but I would put him I think he's a point guard. I think he's 3.
I think he's
again.
a point guard as well, yeah. He's a point guard.
Yeah, you can go back and forth between him and Lillard. I'm not going to call you wrong either way, but for my taste, I'd give him third on this list, and I think he's going to have another 30-plus point season. And you give him, Chet Holmgren, another year of Josh Giddey, another year of Lou Dort, another year of there's another really good Thunder player. I'm just forgetting about right now.
Jalen Williams.
I'm forgetting some. Oh yeah, Jalen Williams. You give
The
him another year of
Jalen Williams. The Jalen Williams.
Oh well, both Jalen Williams. You give him another year of both Jalen Williamses, and he's going to be really good. So, but overall, no, nothing outlandish on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We can move on to the shooting guards,
Shooting guards.
I guess. Earl's just like.
All right,
yeah,
girl,
okay.
I probably took everything you said. You're going to say there. But...
No, I mean you pretty much hit it spot on, bro. I'm just gonna say I agree.
I agree. Anyway, so the shooting guards are going to start. We got Devin Booker at number 1. He's going to be averaging 27.8 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal. Number 2, we got Anthony Edwards, 24 points a game, 5.8 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 1.6 steals. And then at number 3, we got Donovan Mitchell, who's got 28.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 1.5 steals. I don't think Devin Booker should be at the top of this list. I'm gonna say it now.
So who would you put at the top? Who would you put at the top then? Would it be Mitchell?
No.
Edwards?
No, I don't think any of these.
Please don't say RJ Barrett.
I'm sorry?
Please don't
say
me.
RJ Barrett.
I'm not gonna put RJ Barrett on this list, guys. I'm not that.
Time out. You just gave a really hot take. You gave a really hot take saying none of these 3 guys.
I mean, I wouldn't say none of these 3 guys are number 1. That's
then
what I'm saying.
Who's number 1 in your eye then? If none of these guys should be number 1, who's number 1 in your eye? You have to have a thought. If none of these guys
you can't just say that and then not give a name.
Or is it just like a random hot take or something?
There's just there's so many.
I didn't mean to press you, Omar. But
No. I get it, but it's just like there's so many good players in the league that it's so easy to just overlook some of these players. Look, I think okay. Let me change it up a bit. I'll give Anthony.
I'll just throw a name in there for you. I'll just throw in a name. Jaylen Brown was not on that list.
Jaylen Brown isn't on that list. I'll say he's top.
I don't think he's better than any of those guys, but he is just another great shooting guard who wasn't named there.
Top 5 for sure.
Top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Not top 5.
I'm prepared to put Devin Booker at number 3.
Okay.
Devin Booker at number 3. Anthony Edwards at number 2. I think Donovan Mitchell falls in the top 3.
Then who's 1?
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like
he's my player.
Yes, precisely. Who would you guys personally put? Because I gotta actually think on this.
Look, I'll give my answer. I think the list is all right. I think Devin Booker, last couple seasons, I will exclude some of his playoff performances, although efficiently wise, he is a great playoff performer, but he hasn't come up clutch when they need him to win at times. I will admit that. But currently, I think he is a top three shooting guard. I don't think the list is wrong. I like Anthony Edwards at 2. I think him and Donovan Mitchell, honestly, could be either 2 or 3. Doesn't really matter to me. Both of them are great 2 guards. Ant-Man, super young. I think he's 22, 23 years old. He's going to be a great player for a long time. Last season was kind of one of his emergent seasons. I think he's only going to get better as he builds his confidence. And I think I think he may be a slightly better defender than Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion. That may be a hot take, but I don't know. I don't really watch a whole lot of Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland. No offense. But yeah, I like this list. I think top 3 is pretty solid. You can change them out, honestly, any one of those guys, 1 through 3. But I'm not mad at it. I think Devin Booker could definitely deserve number 1.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the top 3 is good. I mean, again, Jaylen Brown. I'll give an honorable mention to Jaylen Brown here. But I think he's probably 4 or 5, unless there's someone else I'm forgetting. I think I would put Edwards at 3 just because like he is kind of on the rise, and he doesn't quite have like the established pedigree that Mitchell and
That is
Booker
true.
have. So for that reason, I'll give them the nod right now. I think maybe going into next season, if Edwards has a really good season and has some solid playoff performances, like you could see him move up to 2, maybe even 1 on this list, depending on how the season goes. But for right now, he is still, ascending. So I can't give him that spot over Mitchell or Booker yet. I actually think I looked up Devin Booker. He's averaged 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in his playoff career. That's his playoff career. So in my mind, as of late at least, maybe I'm biased because I'm a Knicks fan and I saw Mitchell have a bad playoff series last year. But I would actually say Booker is probably a better playoff. As of late, he's been a better playoff performer than Mitchell. So for that reason, I'll give him the number 1 spot. I think Mitchell does tend to have better regular seasons because he's a more high-volume scorer. You see him go off for like his 71.9 night, stuff like that. So he gets maybe a little bit better statistical go in the regular season. But Booker has had more individual success in the playoffs, I think, and also just more team success. Remember, he did go to the NBA Finals as the best player on that team. And the Phoenix Suns were, I believe, 2 games away from winning their first NBA championship behind Devin Booker. So for that, I'll give my props to him. Again, it could be a Damian Lillard situation where now that he's got Kevin Durant, now that he's got Bradley Beal, his individual statistical performance might take a hit for the overall improvement of the Suns. So that could happen, and you see Donovan Mitchell have a better statistical season, but the Suns go 2 or 3 rounds deeper in the playoffs, and then you're kind of back to having that. Do you value the playoffs more, or do you value regular season? So my list, Booker, Mitchell, Ant-Man. But again, I got no qualms with the list they put out. I think those are the top 3. They got the top 3 right. Nothing blasphemous there.
I think I'm putting Kyrie in that number 1 spot. I don't know. He's still got it. Kyrie's still got it. So.
I mean, I guess by name now he is a shooting guard because he's gonna play next to Luka. So I guess we do kind of have to factor him in. But honestly, I wouldn't take him over any of those 3 guys. Not right now. Maybe Edwards. Maybe. But I can't take him over Mitchell or Booker, certainly. And if Edwards is as good this year as he looks
all I'm saying is, if Jalen Brunson is not on this list, then he was able to beat out Donovan Mitchell twice in 2 different playoff series. Earlier, you're shaking your head when I'm stating facts. He beat him on the Mavericks, and then he beat him on the Knicks. They were both on different teams. They were both got traded around the same time, and Jalen Brunson still whooped his ass. But it don't matter. But I'm just
Brunson
saying.
Has the unfortunate. Oh, sorry.
So for that reason, you're putting Kyrie Irving at number 1.
I'm putting Kyrie Irving at number 1, yes, because Kyrie Irving is still got it. He's still got the handles to be one of the best players in the league. He still shoots and he still scores on par with everybody else. Just because he's didn't have a full season doesn't mean that he's not a top 3 shooting guard. And by definition,
number 1.
He's not
he
a
is
shooting
not
a
better shooting guard right now currently than Devin Booker is. If you look at if we're factoring the last, we can go 3-4 seasons back, respectfully. And I love Kyrie Irving. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love his game. I love arguably one of the best handles of all time, up there with Allen Iverson. He can score on anybody. We've seen the clip where he literally took Kawhi Leonard almost to the floor, gliding in the air, still throws it up over him. Best defender in the league, finishes over him. So I'm high on Kyrie Irving, but to put him at 1, no, respectfully. Right. Top 5, top 3, maybe, but 1, I'm giving it to D-Book. I mean, you can take Donovan Mitchell out if you want to, but Jalen Brunson doesn't belong in the top 3 either, respectfully. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, your argument about Brunson beating Kyrie in 2 different playoff series, while that is true, and I do think you can give Brunson his props there, Brunson has the unfortunate reality of being a point guard in a league that has is a very competitive spot when you look at the top end. The shooting guard is probably has the least clear number 1 in the league. Maybe you could say power forward as well, because there's a lot of sketchiness with who you define as power forward, but there's a pretty clear pecking order at point guard. There's a pretty clear pecking order at small forward and center. If you count Giannis as a power forward, then he's the clear and away number 1 there. But just because Brunson is a great player, he plays a point guard, so you can't give him top 3. And if you're going to rank Kyrie as a shooting guard, which is fair, because like you said, Omar, you look at it by the facts, he will be playing next to Luka, and we all know Luka's going to be the 1, so okay. Yep. You look at Kyrie as a shooting guard, but if you're going to evaluate him on the shooting guard list, you have to look at his performance as a shooting guard, which he didn't start playing that position until the second half of last season on Dallas. I don't think you can look at his Nets performances and factor that into the ranking because, he was a point guard then. So if you're just looking at shooting guard Kyrie Irving, which basically just means Mavericks Kyrie, he was not near the Kyrie that he normally is playing the point guard. So, I mean, you make a good point bringing him up because I completely forgot. And, like, by definition, yes, you have to include him on the shooting guard list. So I could put him at, like, 4 or 5 with, like, in the Jaylen Brown conversation. I think those two can probably round out the top 5. But top 3, Mavericks, Kyrie over Ant-Man, D-Book, or D-Mitch. I just can't. I can't do it. And again,
I'm just
Kyrie's
not
playing next
convinced
week.
with any of these players being at number 1.
But
To
the
be
truth
honest.
is, though,
It's weird.
Omar,
I'll give you that.
look, I give it to you. Kyrie Irving, like Max said, as a Maverick, has played 20 games as a shooting guard. I don't think you can just throw him up at number 1 over these guys who've been playing shooting guard their whole career. Basically, right now.
Right.
At least for the last 4
It's
seasons.
weird to think about. Like, it's
Well,
weird to be like,
I
Devin
tend,
Booker
I
is, like,
tend to think
technically
about
in
it
his-
like this. When I'm looking at the Mavericks starting lineup, I'm thinking that Luka and Kyrie are more or less interchangeable in the fact that they can technically be positionless in a sense where they're both the shooting guard and the point guard within that game or within that lineup. So I feel like it is unfair to compare them that way, but you also have to consider that that's probably where they're at right now. They both, it is the most, I would say it is the most similar positions to each other, shooting guard and point guard, just because of what their role, what the shooting guard's role is and what the point guard's role is. So I just feel like it's more close together, a more relatable style of play than, let's say, a small forward and a power forward who are also close in that sense. So
That's an interesting point. I would say probably the shooting guard and small forward are a little bit more similar traditionally, at least because the point guard is typically like the playmaker. He's the one with the ball in his hands the most of the time. Shooting guard, small forward, you see a lot of players transition between those two positions because they're both the wings. You're both typically guarding the opposing team's best player. You know, you're kind of a more off-ball isolation role. You know, go to the, float to the corner. Not really setting as many picks as like a power forward or a center would. So, I mean, but that's a different conversation we can have another day.
yeah.
I
gotta finish this list.
Yeah.
We got. I'll finish off the list and then we can talk about our opinions. I'm sorry, I just gotta finish it. So,
No, go ahead. We got it.
So the best 3 small forwards, we got Jason Tatum, LeBron James, and Jimmy Butler. Jason Tatum with 30 points per game. LeBron James with 28.9, and then Jimmy Butler with 22.9. There's no argument there. I mean, we could talk about Jimmy Butler in a little bit, but I'm not sure if he's at number 3. For power forward, right? Right?
Yeah.
Mom.
Are we gonna go through the whole list and then go back, or keep doing by position?
We'll go through the whole list and then go back.
Okay.
So then, the 3 best power forwards: Giannis Antetokounmpo, 31.1 points per game. Kevin Durant, 29.1 points per game, and then Anthony Davis at 25.9. Earl's not gonna like this. If Anthony Davis can stay very, very healthy, there is no way he should not be on this top 3 list. I think he does. I think he does deserve to be there, but he just needs to stay consistent and continue to.
Is he not on top 3 list?
No, he's here. He's here.
Oh, okay.
But all that I'm saying is here. All I'm saying is, if he's not consistent and he's not playing 50 plus, or if he let's be more fair, if he's not playing 45 plus games, I don't know if I can consider him top 3.
Really?
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, top 3 in terms of value, maybe you can argue that because, like, if you're not playing that many games, you're not adding as much value to your team. You know, the best ability is availability.
But that's only if he doesn't play 45.
Can I tag in?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, Kevin Durant didn't play that last season. He's top 3.
I mean, I don't agree with that either. So
Kevin Durant didn't play 58 games last season.
We can talk about that. I mean, Kevin Durant, he doesn't deserve to be there either. But
no, I'm just saying these invisible standards. I know. Weird.
I agree with you.
Just saying. Brooklyn.
I mean, I would imagine this list is assuming health and assuming like all these players are playing, 82 games or whatnot. But
I don't know if you guys will like the center list. I don't know if you guys would like the center list, right? So
we know the top 2. So it's just who's 3.
Yeah, who's 3? We know the top 2. Nikola Jokic at number 1, Joel Embiid at number 2, Bam Adebayo for number 3.
No.
Hell no, right? Thank you. No.
There's got to be a better center.
There's definitely a better center than that. I mean,
Okay.
Bro, am I missing someone?
Okay. Who's the center? Who is it then?
let's look at it.
I'm just playing. I really don't know.
I don't think that's that crazy. Unless there's someone we're all over missing. Bam is maybe not mad underrated, but he's pretty underrated. I don't think that's a wild. I mean, Gobert's not like that anymore. Jaren Jackson Jr. is good, but I would take Bam over him for what he does. I mean, Mitchell Robinson, Miles Turner, Brooke Lopez, Nick Claxton, Siakam's
And I
a
guess the
power
center
forward.
game is not really that crazy anymore, if you think about it.
Unless you're
It's not that
calling
crazy.
Davis a center, which you could. If you're calling Davis a center, but that I would say, I mean, Earl, what do you think? Is he a power forward or a center for the Lakers? They use him more.
I mean,
He likes to
honestly,
play power forward more.
I think it's the same
look,
concept as when you put
here's the
Kevin Durant
thing.
at power forward.
Right? And
Because
every
obviously
other
I think he
list,
plays small forward, so I don't know.
and every other list that I'm looking at, it's saying Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Bam Adebayo. But there's only one list that says Anthony Davis, and that's sportsnews.com.
Okay. Yeah, if
So-
we're calling Davis a power
Yeah.
forward, then I'm fine with Bam.
Yeah.
To be honest, I do
I'm
think
sorry
it's
for
a
the
drop-off.
overreaction, Bam. I'm sorry. It
Yeah,
was an
me
accident.
too. Me too. I mean, when
You
you
know
when you
what?
really start to think about it, it's like, wait,
It's
you know
not
what?
really-
It's not that crazy. Just like when I said the Knicks would be a top 3 in the East, I was saying that to my boy yesterday, or
Don't
like,
say that, bro.
to my friend yesterday, and he was like, "Nah, you're bugging. I was like, "Oh yeah,
You are.
Philadelphia only got worse. Oh yeah, Miami only got worse too." I mean, look, we're the only team that actually stayed consistent and actually started to retain players instead. Dante DiVincenzo is arguably a better player than Obi Toppin is right now. I'd rather take Dante DiVincenzo because he could play 3 positions and then over Obi Toppin. Over Obi Toppin, who's gonna complain on the bench and shit. Like, I don't want that either.
What? Hold on, time out. Why do you always attack Knicks fans when they leave? Obi Toppin didn't.
No,
get
I
no
love
play.
Obi Toppin. Chill out. I love
You
Obi
just said he
Toppin.
complained on the bench.
He did.
I think you just come up with narratives after leaving your team to make you feel more comfortable as a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
With them.
That's facts.
It's
It's all in the Knicks fan trope, bro. They give you
Maybe
a
it's just
they give you
the
a
cycle of
brochure, they recruit you, right, Max? You don't remember? Like the Knicks recruit
Max
you,
turned
they
on the
physically
meeting.
recruit you to be their fans.
Max turned on the
I try
meter.
not to look at Knicks news on Twitter. I think that's where a lot of this comes from. I mean, the guy does good work, but my gosh, he is the most biased Knicks fans I've ever seen. Like his takes make me cringe as a Knicks fan. He's putting out takes that has me cringing. I think DiVincenzo's a better player than Obi right now, but Obi fits our team better. Like we don't have a backup power forward. DiVincenzo's just adding into a logjam at the point guard, shooting guard position. So I don't know. That's an entirely different topic. I don't know how you managed to get us to the Knicks from the best.
Every time. Every
The
time.
Knicks don't even have a player on this list.
Every
We
time.
somehow got back to
That's
the Knicks.
crazy.
Back to the list. We go.
Yeah, but yeah, we left off on the centers. I mean, it obviously ends at the centers, but do you guys want to go back to the Jimmy Butler top 3? Do you guys think Jimmy Butler is top 3? Small forward.
I think it's the same thing as Bam. Funny enough, they're both Heat players, but I would challenge you to think of a better small forward than Jimmy Butler, obviously not named Tatum or LeBron.
I could name one, but I mean they can't prove it because they haven't stayed healthy. So
That's fair. If you want to argue
argue
Kawhi, then I would agree.
Fair
I think
enough,
Kawhi at his peak, if he is still playing like, top tier Kawhi Leonard, yes, I would probably take that over Jimmy Butler, especially
only
regular
guys
season.
I can think of, like you said, they play for the Clippers. But I don't even know if you qualify Paul George as a small forward or a 2
I
guard.
would say
it
2
would.
guard. I would say 2 guard.
I'd say small forward.
Yeah. Mainly
I
his
mean,
career,
I
he's
don't
been
know.
a small forward.
Nah, I would take him out of 2 guard, to be honest. Because if they're both starting, I guess you could say Kawhi's the one that's playing.
I feel like I've seen
small forward.
Kawhi play some power forward for them. I feel like I've seen
I think
Paul
he's
George
played
at
at the
small forward, Kawhi at
four,
power forward.
low-key.
And then Zubac.
I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't watch Clippers games, so
Nobody.
maybe this is. Also, I just want to revisit the whole Anthony Davis thing one more time. Guys, everybody in the chat, I know there's going to be comments. Stop bringing up injuries, man. If we're going to do that, mental notes, if he plays healthy, Kevin Durant has been injured the last 3 to 4 seasons. Has not played a full season.
I agree
I'm
with
pulling it
you.
up right now. He's played 55, 47, and 46. Sorry, I had to put it together because Brooklyn, and then it's slashed out with Phoenix. So that whole argument, if KD can be top 3 with no strings attached, then Anthony Davis can be top 3 no strings
No, I
attached. That's all I
agree
got.
with that 100%.
It just annoys me because if you look at the stats too, he's played in these last 4 years. He's played more games than Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry. I'm forgetting some Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, all those guys, and none of those guys get as much negative press as Anthony Davis does. Like it's just, as a Lakers fan, it definitely sucks. Especially, I bring up the example on ESPN of when Anthony Davis literally got bumped. Like I forget what exactly happened in the playoffs. And then Stephen A. Smith was like, he better get up. I don't care if he's injured or not. It's like, bro, if he's injured, then he's injured. Like, it's not like he chose to be injured. So maybe it's just a little bit of Lakers sensitivity, but I don't know. It's just kind of annoying with the whole injury as an argument when it literally applies to nobody else but Anthony Davis, in my opinion.
No, I agree. You know what? Like, what Stephen A. said, it was taking a little bit of a step too far because if a player is injured and you're actually seeing them injured, like, on the court, I feel like there's no excuse that you can make for that. Like, if a player is injured, like, you got to shut up and just let them deal with it. Like,
it's not like they choose to get injured.
Exactly, yeah. No, 100%.
Like, I bring up the point. It's not like AD's out there just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's not like he's like, oh, let me just go injure my leg. Like, it's just dumb stuff. Like, there was one where somebody threw a lob. He went up and tried to grab it. He landed wrong. Landed on somebody's foot. There's one where somebody stepped on his ankle. Like, he didn't wake up that morning and was like, oh, let me prepare for someone to step on my ankle after I've been training all season. Like, it's just dumb injuries, honestly. So,
yeah.
I am hoping he has a really healthy season. I don't know. We'll see what happens, though. But that excuse about injuries, definitely annoying. And my hot take for this episode, I know we're not done, but Anthony Davis will have a healthy season, and he will be top 5 in MVP voting. Let me say it with my chest. He will be top 5 in MVP voting and have a healthy season.
Right.
That's my hot take.
I can respect it. Let's move on to the next.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll just say, building off what you said, Omar, I do hate when people try and build a narrative that certain players are, quote, weak because they get injured a lot. Like, that's just, like you said, no one's choosing to get injured or, like, you know, listen, some guys play through injuries more than others. Some people have a higher pain tolerance than others. Some people are more injury prone than others. These are all facts. I'm not arguing against that. But the whole like, oh, AD's weak. He's a loser. He doesn't care about winning. Kobe could have broken both legs and would have come out in a wheelchair and dropped 40. Like, it's just a dumb narrative. Like you said, he's not choosing to get hurt. So I hate when people do that. I'll be honest, no strings attached. I would take AD over Durant just because when he's been healthy, AD has been top 5 in MVP voting. Like, he was a legitimate, like, MVP frontrunner last season, the first 30 games before he started having some injury problems come up again. Like, he is a very, very, very dominant big man and, like, can guard 1 through 5, one of, like, the handful of players who can actually guard 1 through 5. Is a great mid-range player. People forget how deadly he is from the mid-range and the low post. One of the best post players in the game, period. Can hit the 3, not great at it, but can hit it enough to where you have to respect it. Obviously fantastic around the rim. Still has his athleticism even after all the lower extremity injuries. So Durant, we haven't quite seen MVP Durant return since he's been injured a ton. Now, 90% Kevin Durant is still better than like a lot of people's 110%. So I would flip KD and AD. I'd put AD second and KD third on that list. I don't know. I might even say KD's still small forward. And if he is, then I might put him third on that list ahead of Jimmy. But that's kind of semantics at that point. I think I'll just give my final thoughts here about this list. I think it's a really good list. This is like the first list that we've talked about on the show where I'm like, you know what? Y'all did a good job. Again, I can argue about Anthony Edwards here or like Durant or Davis here, but like I think they got the 15 players named are all in the top 3 at their position. How you want to order, except maybe Lillard. Again, I think the Shea versus Lillard thing is the only thing where I'm like, there's a player not on this list that could have been. But even that is like an understandable argument. So I'll give these guys an A+. Good list, you know, solid stats, solid reasoning, got no qualms with it. No blasphemy here. Solid top 3 list. They got everything right for the most part, I think. And if they, you know, again, anything they didn't get right you're just splitting hairs. So good job.
No, 100%. I mean, I have my nitpicks about this list, but I'm gonna continue for the sake of the episode. We're gonna go on to our next article, our next list here, ranking the 10 most skilled NBA players today. Important notes to keep in consideration. Jason Tatum considers himself a top skilled talent in the league. Kyrie Irving is considered one of the most skilled players ever. And then Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell barely missed out. Right? So Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell are not going to be in this list, but they're not far off from this list at all. So we're going to start at number 10. We got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And it's well-deserved based on the season that he had last year. Number 9, we got Jason Tatum. I think he can afford to be a little higher in this list, but I have to see the rest of the list to continue. So
Wait, can I?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, you said this is most skilled players currently?
Top 10.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yep. Number 8, Damian Lillard. I think I can agree with that. I don't have a contention about that. Kevin Durant at number 7. I think I genuinely think him and Jason Tatum can flip-flop.
Who?
Him and Jason Tatum can flip-flop for the most skilled
Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
And Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum is at 7 for the most skilled players, top 10 skilled players. And then Kevin Durant is at number 9.
Kevin Durant is at 9 or Tatum's at 9?
Tatum is at 9 right now, right? I'm saying him and Kevin Durant could flip-flop, being Jason Tatum is at 7 and Kevin Durant is at 9. I mean, it's not a big jump. That's why, right? They're still both low on the list.
I'd be more willing to put Tatum ahead of Lillard than I would Durant, personally.
I just feel like Durant's kind of low, but we haven't finished the rest of the list, so we'll see.
Yeah.
If we're just talking about these players as individuals, then I don't know. All right, continue.
All right.
I got to hear the whole list.
Number 6, we got Devin Booker. Number 5, we got Paul George.
Okay.
Number 4, we got James Harden. I mean, that's a clear individual accolade. So,
I just don't know how we're ranking skill.
What are we based off of?
How are you classifying skill?
All right, let's get the top 3. Let's get the top 3 real quick.
Okay,
Yeah,
number 3 is Stephen Curry. Number 2 is Luka Doncic. And number 1 is Kyrie Irving.
Wait. Okay, I like Kyrie Irving. No, honestly, Kyrie at 1 is not as bad as Kevin Durant at 7. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If we're talking, Kevin Durant was the starter of this whole dribble, ISO, 7'11", whatever, take you off the dribble and score for him wherever he wants on the floor. Maybe not the starter, but I don't know. Paul George at what? 5? Top 5 for Paul George? I don't know. I mean, top 10, yeah. I just don't know. Are we basing this off of fully healthy prime? Or are we basing it off of right now NBA action?
I guess it means right now NBA action.
How do you not even? But how are you defining skill? Like, how are we going to make an
LeBron
NBA
not
top
be on
10
that
skill
list?
list? LeBron's not there. Jokic is not there. Giannis is not there. Embiid is not
Anthony
there.
Davis,
I think it's
like,
talking about the intangibles, like the dribbling skills and the.
I guess.
How can LeBron not be top? How can LeBron not be top 10 skill if he is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA? So you don't have to have any skills to get to that list, apparently.
Shit, I don't know, man. I didn't make this list. Some of these lists are gonna be good. Some of these lists are gonna be bad. Like, we got no idea. You know what I mean? We're playing with the boxes, and then you like pull the paper out of the hat, and it's mad random. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like they full of names.
This sounds like you just threw the top 25 players in the NBA into a hat and you just picked them at random. And we're like,
yeah,
okay,
literally. That's what it sounds like.
All right, cool. No Tatum. No Giannis. No Jokic.
Yeah, this is a pretty bizarre list. Well,
they
then,
lost me.
Well, then wait. Okay, then, because then this brings another question, because the list was dominantly like about point guards. So I would have to assume, if they're talking about that, I would probably assume they're more or less talking about dribbling, scoring in the post, scoring here, scoring there, for more or less guards.
Score in the post here and there. I mean,
Everywhere.
I mean, I don't know.
What
This
can LeBron not do at this point in his career? He can do everything.
I don't know,
every
man.
like,
I didn't make this list.
point, assist, everything. That skill is passing. Not a skill. Is the thing. I mean, he still gets blocked. Old man is head above the rim, chasing people down last year. Crazy. That's not skilled though. I guess it's not skilled enough for the dribble head.
No, man, not enough. Well,
On this
I guess let's get off of this pretty bad
Surprised
list.
Jalen Brunson's not on there too. You know.
Yeah, all right, let's roll.
Yeah, this was definitely made by like an ISO demigod 2K24 player
100%.
who's like just
Yeah,
left,
man.
right, left, right, left, right, curry slide,
Yep.
green
All right, so
animation.
I mean, let's get to I guess the actual factual part of the video, which is going to be the most career 40-point playoff games, right? So
We can't mess this up. Thank
okay,
you.
so
Let's
I
go.
kind of have to, I kind of have to
Good.
run. I have to run straight through this. So
All right, go ahead.
all right.
No interruption.
Okay, number one, we got Michael Jordan at, it says about 38 games. It might be wrong here because it's very blurry. But you know what? I'm just going to read them in order. Number one, Michael Jordan. Number two, LeBron James. Number three, Jerry West. Number four, Elgin Baylor. Number five, Kevin Durant. Number six, Will Chamberlain. Number seven, Kobe Bryant. Number eight, Shaq. Number nine, Hakeem Olajuwon. Number 10, James Harden. Number 11, Allen Iverson. Number 12, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 13, Rick Barry. Number 14, Luka Doncic. Number 15, Giannis. Number 16, Steph Curry. Number 17, Emo Jimmy Butler. Number 18, Bernard King. Number 19, Dirk Nowitzki. Number 20, Dwayne Wade. Number 21, Russell Westbrook. Number 22, Devin Booker. Number 23, George Gervin. Number 24, Bob Pettit. Number 25, John Havlicek. Number 26, McAdoo. B. McAdoo. I don't remember his first name. Number 27, Larry. Bob McAdoo, yes. Thank you. Number 27, Larry Bird. Number 28, wow, you guys are sleeping? Really?
Oh, my bad.
Wait,
Wow.
we still going? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you guys, you know what?
Wait, what did this list go to, by the way?
40. We're
Okay.
on number 28.
Okay. Wait, we're on 28?
Yeah.
We should have stopped at 25.
Number 28,
What
well, Dominique Wilkins.
What are we doing?
Number 29, Charles Barkley. Number 30, Kawhi Leonard. Wake up, boys. Wake up. Jalen Brunson should be on this list, but I'm not going to nitpick because I don't really care.
Oh, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to get to.
Yeah,
we're trying to
because
get all the way to
because
number
Jalen
600
Brunson's not on
to
this list, but Jalen Brunson had like 5 this year. And it's like, and
No one else on this list has 5, though.
He's
Everyone
on
has
pace
more than
for
5.
number 1. He's on pace for number 1.
no, because there's some here that it's like Jamal Murray had 5 games. And then it says George Mikan had 4 games. And then Oscar Robertson, 4 games. Scotty Jones, 4 games. English.
What year was this made?
I don't know. It was fairly recently, apparently. But yeah, and then
Who's
it's
Scotty Jones?
Magic
Scotty
Johnson got 4 games. Karl Malone 4 games. Tracy McGrady 4 games. Amari Stoudemire, and then Tim Duncan.
Can I say something off
Wait.
rip?
Yeah.
I don't even think this might not even be hot. Luka might be number 1 when he retires. He's
Yeah,
already past
Luka's
Curry.
Luka's at
He's
14.
already past
Yeah.
Curry, and he's what 6 seasons in.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
more than half of these
Better
players
he
on this
gets,
list.
better his
Bro,
teams get.
wait, but bro, because Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo are like 14 and 15. So it's like those two are going to continuously go up.
They might finish.
And don't forget Jimmy Butler is still here.
I'm more worried about Luka's teams making the playoffs than I am about him putting up 40. Like, if he's in the playoffs, he's going to have 40
Well,
point games.
I gotta
I'm just
be
more worried
honest.
about him
I
not
gotta
getting
be
to the
honest
playoffs that
about
much.
something. I won't be surprised
true.
if in a few years we're gonna start seeing players average 40 points a game, because if we go back to when Kevin Durant was playing in Oklahoma City, he won the scoring title, and he scored 29.5 points a game. And nowadays, we're seeing players put up 32, 35 points a game. I genuinely will not be surprised if we start seeing players start to average 40. Give it a good 2 to 5 years, and I think we'll see players averaging around 40 points a game.
I mean, I don't know about the regular season. Yeah, I mean, even Jordan couldn't do 40 in the regular season. I think maybe 40 across the playoff
There's a
series.
lot of things that are players doing nowadays that Jordan couldn't do. I mean, it's just the evolution of the game.
Right. If the pace of the game keeps going and the 4-point line comes in, then maybe. But barring that, it's going to be tough for me to see anyone do a 35.
You guys can clip this. There's no way in the world in 2 to 5 years anybody's going to average 40 points a game.
Bro, we already see people averaging 35. That's 5 points away from averaging 40.
That 5 points is a lot.
I can understand.
It is. We also have not seen 35.
All I'm saying is we have seen
35 real?
What?
No.
Who averaged 35 last season?
No, but it was 32 or 33, I think Embiid won it with 32 or 33.
Let me just double check.
And yeah. Also, while Omar's looking this up, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back here. I was defending Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain a couple weeks ago in all time, and look who's 3rd and 6th on this list. Like,
rock on, baby.
How many people do you think would think Jerry West is even top 10 in 40-point playoff games, let alone 3rd? And remember, he did this with no 3-point line.
Joel Embiid, 33.
No casual NBA fan.
Joel Embiid, 33.1. But that's still not off from what I was saying. Like, bro, we've seen a steady increase between.
If we're talking, bro, that is way up. Bro, if we're talking about averages, the average between 33 and 40 is pretty far. Like, it's significant. For you to average 40, you got to be dropping like 45 plus like every other game.
Yeah.
And
if you have a 30-point night,
yeah.
If you put up 30 points one night, you have to score 50 the next game to even.
Yeah. Like, it seems like it's close, but average-wise, not it.
7 points. 7 points is the difference between an 11-point per game player which is like a borderline starter, and an 18 points per game player, which is a borderline all-star.
Yep.
18 and 25 is the difference between a borderline all-star and like an all-NBA player. And 25 to 32 or 33 is the difference between an all-NBA player and an MVP. So I think the only player that could potentially screw you over in this is Victor, I think. If Victor just absolutely destroys the Matrix and just goes off for starts making 50 the new norm, he's the only thing that could throw a wrench into your plan. But again, even that is like, there's a lot.
I don't know.
I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be the first person to average 40 points a game.
Not on that team. No, he's not.
Yes, he is. No, I mean, maybe not on that team. You're right. Maybe not on that team. Okay.
Maybe he had the chance when that team sucked, but now they're an emerging team with guys who want the ball in their hand.
But he's also the 4th highest scorer in the game right now, but
it's not going to jump all the way to 40 points a game, bro. He's not going to be dropping 50 bombs every other week.
He was drafted in 2018. What is this?
The Clippers' greatest mistake.
It was. No, the Clippers messed up by trading him 100%.
Greatest mistake. Yeah, you know what they're looking for right now that they're missing? A point guard. Though, what point guard would fit perfectly in that system? The one that they traded away. Just saying. There's other ways to go about it. They literally could have ran Paul George. They could have signed Paul George, convinced him, hey, maybe, you want to change the scenery? Boom. Play here with Shai. Who knows? But obviously, it's the NBA world. Things develop differently. We never know what could happen. But if they don't win a championship, that's track. They sold. They already sold, though, but they sold again.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. You guys can clip Earl saying there'll never be a 40-point scorer. You can clip Omar saying that the first will be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't have any clippable things. I doubt it. I'm not going to rule it out, especially if the league adds a 4-point line. Maybe there's a chance. So
yeah, I think there's a solid chance for it, and I think you're gonna call me crazy now, but in the next few years, when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does it, you're gonna be like, he was. Bro, I don't know, man. He's 5 years into the league right now, 4 or 5 years into the league as it stands right now, and he's the 4th highest scorer in the league. That's got to speak numbers if he's scoring 31 points a game.
there's some top guys 4 or 5 years in the league where they played on bad teams and they put up good numbers. That's just life.
I think they're gonna be a really good team this year. I mean, with Chet Holmgren finally coming back, it's
So you think
gonna be
that
insane.
Shea is gonna drop 45 every other game and 50 every other week, every other week?
Not 50.
He has to get that average.
He has to put up 40. You need to do 50 unless you're just never going below 40.
That's fair.
He's gonna put up. He's gonna have a bad night. No,
I mean,
30.
let me argue. He's gonna have to have a 60, 70 every other month. He's gonna have to keep that average. You're saying 40 points a game.
He's gonna have to break Wilt's 100 multiple times.
Yeah, he's gonna get 100 2 times in the season.
All right, relax. All right,
bro. I don't mean to jump on your own mark, but that's the hottest take you've ever said. Frankly.
I mean, that's a fair enough take.
No, it's not. He's not hotter.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I'm just the king. That's what they call me.
I mean, guys, look at the background. That's all you gotta say. But yeah, I want to thank you today's sponsor, Cheese and Grooves. Week 2 of sponsorships. We do appreciate you for sending the free boxes to the boys.
From last week?
It's our sponsorship.
All right, thank you everybody from tuning in this week. From episode 8, from us to you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this podcast. And we will be in double digits soon, so make sure you guys are live for that, right? We're going to try to get stuff squared away to make sure we can start recording on YouTube and, posting live from YouTube. So we're going to, as soon as we get to work on that and get to just that, we're going to be going live there. So, again, I wanted to thank everybody again, and peace out.
Guys.
Peace.